A Shalom Markins of Kamak Pasham, Jim Eslon, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chachadash. When to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing his truth and all sincerity. Back again with another video, and I come across this article through the feed, right? And it's entitled "Anti-Muslim Hate in UK Hits Highest Level in More Than a Decade," right? This was published on the 5th of October this year, right? And it made me think about something else, that mythical, legendary letter that Albert Pike wrote to Giuseppe Manzini, right? Because this is all part of the plan for the elites, right? To create this, religious, quote unquote, spiritual exhaustion between Christians and Judeo-Christians and these Muslims, right? And this is still part of their plan. And it's written in the letter, which I'm going to pull up in a minute. But, considering everything that's going on right now with the small hats in Lebanon, in Palestine, and so on, right? And all the assassinations that men are doing, right? It's causing extra friction, tension between these two sides, right? Because you've got the Christians on one hand that really, they're behind the Israelis, right? The Judeo-Christians, right? But obviously the Muslim man, obviously, are getting violated right now, man. And they want they want all to stop and all that kind of stuff, but these men ain't stopping, and ain't no one really trying to stop Israel doing all this craziness, right? And so it's causing hatred to boil up even more, right? And this is why it says, it's the highest in more than a decade, right? Because men are getting killed and children are getting, deleted and all kinds of things, and so tensions are extremely high right now, and that is the cause of this highest level of hate, right? But again, like I said, it's all part of the plan of the elites to create this sort of situation, right? And exhaust these two religious or / political sides. Okay, so I'm gonna read a little bit of this, and I'm gonna read some of that letters too, right? It says Islamophobia and anti-Muslim hate in the UK has risen to the highest total in more than a decade, right? So the Muslims are feeling one way, the Christians are feeling another. We got a whole issue with the whole immigrant thing in the UK and elsewhere, so these men hate them for coming over to the country and not conforming to the typical English or British identity. They're bringing their religions, bringing their ways of life with them, and and so the Edomites in this country, they're getting upset, right? So there's hate on both sides, and like I said, it's building up because of the things that are happening between them, what's going on in the Middle East. So yeah, Islamophobia and anti-Muslim hate in the UK has risen to the highest total in more than a decade, according to a charity monitoring such incidents. Tell Mama said it recorded 4,971 incidents of anti-Muslim hate and discrimination in the year since the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel, right? So it's a catalyst, right? The incidents to the end of September this year mostly took the form of abusive behavior. 63%, the organization said. Just over a quarter of cases, 27%, involved what it described as threatening behavior. All right, most incidents took place in London, the Northwest, Yorkshire, and the Midlands, the group said. The figures come in the same week as a Jewish charity said it had recorded more than 5,500 anti-Semitic incidents in the UK in the year since the Hamas attacks on Israel, right? So, like I said, it's creating this environment of hatred to, be going around because of what's going on, right? So it's causing division in societies. Okay, violence and that is taking place. People are feeling uneasy, right? Like I said, that hate is bubbling up. Okay, and Esau intends to use that hate. Okay, to use that energy against the people, right? The masses as a whole, because everybody's getting tired. Everybody wants this to stop, right? And it's not stopping, and it's only going to make things worse and create greater, problems. And by the end of it all, these people are going to be fed up, right? And this all leads to the mark of the right? The MOTB. It all leads to that, right? Because this is going to be Esau's solution, or part of his solution to end all these things, right? And his rule and his new world order. All right. So that's what I'm going to read from this, right? But like I said, this article reminded me of this letter here, right? Who people debate whether this letter even exists, but all you got to do is look around you, man, and the proof is in the pudding, right? Because this is exactly what's happening, right? So Albert Pike's letter to Manzini, right? The Illuminati plan for 3 world wars, August 15th, 1871. I'm just going to skip to the points, right? So the plan was to have these 3 world wars. 2 of them already happened. As the scriptures tell you, the 3rd world cometh. Right, the First World War and the Second World War has already happened. Right, and so let's skip to that part. Right, let's say you can pause the video and read it and that, but I'm gonna jump to here. Right, the Third World War, which is what's on the horizon. Okay, and currently going on. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. Right, and that's what that conflict is all about down in the Middle East. Okay, and that's having ramifications around the whole earth. Right, the war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arab world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Right, because right now, as much as some people, they might not like the Iranians and that kind of stuff because they're this and they're that. Right, people are really turning on Israel right now because they're just being ruthless right now. Killing anything that moves right now. So, and they're not having any mercy whatsoever. Okay, they don't care who they're destroying, and so some people are really disgusted by it. Right, so people are disgusted by both of these groups, both of these religions and these entities. All right, so the idea is for them to mutually destroy each other. Okay, so meanwhile the other nations, right, those watching, right, once more divided on this issue. Are these nations not divided on this issue? Even their own allies don't know how to really tackle this or how to deal with the Israelis or the Iranians and that kind of stuff. And they've got larger implication of Russia and all these things. They don't know how to deal with this. They're divided by how to deal with the situation. Because if they don't back their allies, i.e. Israel, they're automatically being labeled as anti-Sem or whatever, and they back hatred. You listen to Netanyahu's speeches, man. Anyone that's not, supporting Israel is an enemy, and they're evil and all this kind of stuff. So, they play on those them harp strings all the damn time. What happened to us in the past, and you're gonna let it happen again, and all that shit. So yes, the once more divided on this issue will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. Okay, that economical part is important too. right? Because this whole world's gonna come crashing down, man, and it's gonna have larger ramifications than just these two religions beefing or whatever, right? Okay, you're gonna start finding it's affecting the world on a grave level, right? Causing economies to crash and food supplies to run short. We know that the oil situation, all these prices are gonna go through the fucking roof because now things are gonna become more scarce. It's gonna have major ramifications around the whole earth, right? And we're gonna see that. Okay, so that's what's happening, right? It says we shall unleash, unleash the nihilists and the atheists, right? Those who seem to be, because these men are meant to be more logical, right? Because they don't believe in some, mystical God that no one's ever seen type thing. And so these men are meant to be more logical. All your Yuval Hararis, your them fucking dudes, them demons, right? All these elitist organizations, right? They're gonna come through and say, look, man, this is stupid. What you're doing is stupid. You're fighting over this land. You're fighting because of this God and all this kind of blah 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 blah. This has got to stop. Okay, this is enough. Because you're all just both fucking crazy. There is no God. You know what I'm saying? There is none of this. None of the rights. They're gonna come with all this shit, and most people are gonna agree. Let's be honest, man, because they're just fighting, destroying, and it's just having, all it's doing is producing bare death, right? And so a lot of people are just gonna go with this, right? After these nihilists and these atheists, step in, and basically there's Esau's guys, your experts, because they don't believe, right? So they're gonna come out with all this stuff. All right, it says that we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil, right? Because this is what all this is going to produce at the end of the day. All right, people are gonna go buck wild, right? As things deteriorate in the earth, right? And everywhere the citizens are obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude. Because the idea is these religions and stuff, they're holding everything back. All this progress that we could be making, they're being held back by these they call these people in these religions ignorant, right? Because they believe in a God that's not real in the eyes of the atheists, right? You're holding back society. You're doing all of this for what? Some ancient thing that didn't exist, you know. Says we'll exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude. Disillusion with Christianity. Now Christianity is already losing, right? People are already stepping away from Christianity because they see it as bogus. Because it is. Christianity is bogus. Islam is bogus. It's all real bogus because Esau set them up, right? To use people, right? It is bogus, right? But the truth is in the scriptures, in the Bible. Okay, not in the Quran, but in the Bible, right? The truth is there, right? But Esau manipulates the mind of these people with religion, okay, or these particular groups with religion, right? And so rather than have these two sides go at it and destroy everything, right? These atheists are going to step in and basically propose a different way, right? A different way. Right, we're going to get it to in a minute, right? It says disillusion with Christianity, those deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, right? Because it's not working. Their way of life is not working, right? And they're going to lose faith in their gods, right? So they're going to be anxious for an ideal, right? A solution, okay? But without knowing where to render its adoration, without knowing where to render its adoration, we will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer. Right? That basically translates into the image of the beast. Right? Their ideals, their ways, right? Which are going to come with accepting his mark. Okay. Brought finally out into public view, right? The completion of it, right? This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time, right? Because they're going to replace this whole thing. This is why it's a new world order. They're going to replace the whole thing, right, with a new way of belief, right? And basically, you're going to believe in these devils, right? You're going to believe in your you know, Yuval Harari's, these revolutionaries. You're going to believe in Elon Musk and technology and all this bullshit. All right. So that's what's going on. And like I said, you could debate whether this letter is real or not. But what you can't debate is what happened because you can see it every day. Recently, right? And this is the result, or this is what's going to be the end result of all what you're seeing. All right. So let's grab some scriptures, right? So let me start here. So 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of his plans, of how he's going about doing things. Now, you might, like I said, you might want to, pretend or believe that this letter is not real. Fine. Okay, but we're gonna choose to believe it. Only because the evidence is out there in front of us to see. All right. So we're not ignorant of his devices. Okay, so we know what he's up to. Okay. In Psalm 64 verse 2, it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, right? Because the wicked, these Edomites, they have secret councils. Okay, i.e. groups like the Illuminati and so on, they're secret councils, right? And not just them, there's other groups and other meetings that go on behind the scenes, okay, that you're not really privy to, right? And so you have to wait and see what it is that they've been speaking about behind closed doors. You have to just watch what's going on. The scriptures gives us a heads up because the agenda of these Edomites or these devils is wickedness. So we already got given a heads up. So we know that these plans are more than likely what's going on, right? So these are easy to accept. Unlike the rest of the world, they refuse to believe that there could be people out there doing all this crazy shit, right? Orchestrating this sort of stuff. Okay, but it's true. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Right. So they think they pull the wool over everybody's eyes, and even though they're quite brazen with it, they're quite bold and they actually like to do it in front of your face a lot of the time, just to see if you even notice anything, because they know you're stupid. They know the public's stupid. They can't see shit, right? But the elect see what they're doing, right, and are able to discern, what it is that they're doing. So they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. This is a thought out plan. Like I said, we just covered the third world part here, but this was a plan, right? This is a plan you're looking at here, right? And how they were going to go about doing it, right? And that is how the world has developed. That is what's happened. Okay, and led us to this point here today. Okay. So, but God shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Right, and this is evidence because things like this are now out and open for people to see. It, whether or not you believe it, but it's there to be seen. Their tongue have fallen upon themselves because they've made it known what their desires are. But they've got people out here so destroyed mentally that they can't even believe these types of things, when they come across them. And that's why, Esau likes to take the piss out of people, with the movies and all that kind of stuff, because it goes over their head ultimately, So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, all that see them shall flee away, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of God, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord, Yahweh, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. Right? So it's like what's been given to us by the Heavenly Father is a great thing, right? This knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding, right? To be able to discern these things. So when they happen, it's a great glory. It's a glory unto the Heavenly Father. But you people don't see that, don't understand that. You don't understand anything. All right. But this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. I'm going to start from 6. Right. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? So like, we've got that whole conflict in the Middle East going on right now with Israel and, in Lebanon and with Iran and Hamas and Hezbollah. And Israel is making guys off left, right, and center right now. And they don't care who's getting in the way of them, whether it be children, women, or whatever, schools, hospitals. It don't matter to them. They're quite happy to destroy anything that's in their path, right? Because they're brutes, right? They're just brutes, man, right? Savages. So, they're not trying to hear the cries out from the global community, to stop this, destruction, right? Because these men are dead set on destroying these, so-called terrorist organizations, right? Which some of them are part of governance, right? So they were a whole country, terrorist country or whatever, Iran. Because they want to go into Iran, and that was brought out. Who that was? It Smedley Butler? Oh, I don't know. That name came to me just then. I don't know if that's correct or not, but the name just popped into my head. So, but they had the idea of basically having these conflicts in the Middle East just to end up at Iran, and so look where we are. We're on that precipice. You know what I'm saying, with that war with Iran. So, all these things are being planned out, being thought of, and being pushed. But like I said, all this destruction is going to bring the world into spiritual, moral, and physical exhaustion. That's the whole idea. All right. So yeah, so this ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, so we're watching. We're just watching. The end is not here yet. We know the MOTB's got to be put out. Before ultimately the climax of World War III. America's destruction ultimately. That's what it's going to end with. Such as the judgment of America in the scriptures. Okay, Babylon the Great. All right, so we know the MOTB's got to come in. All right, so we know there's going to be a great turmoil on the earth. Pursuant to Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. There's going to be great turmoil on the earth, such as never been. Right, and it's all going to stem from, it's been building up, but it's going to stem from, this war. Everything that's going on. Okay. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, and we're experiencing those things, and the famine, okay, that's coming is gonna be a great famine. All right, one that's gonna test the minds of the people and their bellies, and we're gonna see how you're gonna react in that time. But generally, these people are gonna give into, pardon me, give into that famine and all the chaos that's going to happen, right? And you're going to end up taking Esau's mark, okay, for safety, supposedly, okay. So all these are the beginning of sorrows, all right. This is Isaiah 19 verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight one another against his brother against. Oh, actually, I didn't read what I wanted to read. Yeah, it's lucky I was meant to continue reading, right? So back here in Matthew 24 verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Now, the funny thing about this now, right, because obviously this is speaking about the Israelites, right? Those that actually follow the Lord, the elect, okay, who are the true Christians. Okay, not these ones, not these posers. Okay, they're really antichrist, right? They don't believe in the Lord or Yahweh Shai, as the scripture saith, right? So the funny thing about this, obviously, their plan, is speaking about, the Christians and the the Zionists and the Muslims, right? But what they didn't take into account was us, right? Because we wasn't an issue then, right? We wasn't an issue then, right? And so now all Esau is doing or has been doing is linking us to such groups as the Muslims and whatever, and that's been a thing that they've done in the past, right? To make it seem like we're those types of characters, to kind of, you know, um, try and kill two birds with one stone type of thing, right? By implicating us with these other groups, right, that are deemed dangerous or extremists or whatever, Esau can now also attack us because really we're the main issue. He needs to keep us under wraps. All right. And so this was never considered, as of the writing of this letter in 1871, right? But we have become a real threat to Esau in this time because the elect or and Israelites are waking up. All right, so he's had to hook us in or tie us into these groups to try and demonize us, so that hate is gonna fall upon us ultimately. We're gonna be blamed for a lot of shit, because we're the only ones prophesying really the downfall of this kingdom, and it's like they're gonna hold us responsible for that. Okay, we've brought some sort of curse upon some sort of curse upon them, or we're doing this or we're doing that, slanders, but that's what's gonna happen. That's what's happening. Right? So he says, they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Right? And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. Right? So this hate is going to build up in these countries, in these nations. Okay, that's what's going on, right? And that's why the article is speaking about it's the highest it's been in a decade, right? And that's going to continue to grow. Okay, so many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right, so that hate is going to grow, right? But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Right, because this is what's really angering them: the fact that we'll bear witness, to the wickedness of this kingdom, right? And we're putting out very plainly why it's being, why this is happening, why it's being destroyed, why it should be destroyed. And people obviously don't like us for that. So yeah, back here 19 as Isaiah 19:2. So I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. Right, that hate is just going to spiral out of control, right? And people are just going to end up fighting each other. We've got elections coming up in America in the 5th of November. That's a powder keg waiting to fucking set off. We're going to see what happens after that, man. We're going to see who wins and what the other side's going to do, because the other side, whoever wins, the either side are losing their minds right now, or they're going to be losing their minds, right? And that division in America is going to deepen, all right? And it's going to be like the same for these other countries, man, right? So they shall fight one another against his brother, everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Right? And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits, to the wizards. Right? And like I said, they're gonna try and seek counsel, but ain't nothing gonna go right. And this is why they're gonna get spiritually exhausted, man, because these so-called gods are not doing anything. Because these man, the Christians that believe in Jesus, right, and these Muslims that believe in Allah, and that they believe in idols, and so there's nothing going to happen of it. You know what I'm saying? There's no one's going to come and stop it, and so you're going to be looking around like who's going to do something about this, and Esau is the one that's going to come in, right, with his his grand ideas, right, because he's the only one ultimately with the power outside of these idols, these deities that's supposed to have power, right? Esau's the only one on the planet with power, so he's the only one that really could stop anything, and people are gonna look to him, and he's gonna come, like I said, with his bright ideas, you know. Yeah, you're gonna get sea hipped. You're gonna do this. We're gonna control this and control that, and you're gonna do this and do that. Live this way. These are the new laws, new rules we're gonna implement. And people are gonna, because they're gonna be exhausted and they're just gonna want this chaos to stop. They're gonna accept the terms, man, and they're gonna take his mark. Because they ain't gonna want to die. It's Second Ezra chapter 2 verse 15. Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 14 says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." Right. So it's going to be chaos out here. Right. People fighting people fighting, government, police forces, and all kinds of things. Right. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings or princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power. But I say things are going to get too crazy, and the majority of people are not going to be able to cope. All right, and they're going to want it to end. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right, so you're gonna be facing a whole bunch of evil. Right, you're gonna, what I mean, you're gonna be, you ain't gonna know what to do about it. You're gonna be completely paralyzed, pretty much, by everything that's going on. You ain't gonna know what to think. You ain't gonna know what to do, what to believe. You know what I'm saying? You will be concentrating on trying to survive, and that's gonna be very arduous, man. Very difficult, very stressful. Right? Your anxiety, people's anxieties and fears gonna be fucking spiking through the fucking roof, man. Living like that for however long that is. We don't know how long that period of time is going to be, but it's not going to be comfortable at all, to say the least. Right? And you're just going to want this fucking nightmare to end. And so you're going to look for any way for it to end. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 5. So yea, also because he transgressed by wine, this is Esau. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, right? Because he wants the whole world. He wants complete control, complete power, complete domination over all the nations. And he wants all the resources pretty much to himself. He don't want to share no more. That's why he got the WEF on the case of taking everything away from you and put you in a 15-minute city. You don't want you to drive around in the cars no more. He don't want you taking no planes no more. He don't want you taking no boats no more. He don't want you doing shit. He want you to stay in your little cage, with a manageable population size, right? That's why you're trying to, decrease the numbers on the planet, according to the Georgia Guidestones. He don't want to give you nothing. He want it all to himself. These elites. All right. But it says, he enlargeth his desires hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. Right. That's why he wants it all. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heateth unto him all people. Right. He's the one that has been bringing people together like this, having people, learn English and all that kind of stuff, so they can, operate in his kingdom. That's why these nations are big on immigration, right? And even though it's stressing the locals out, those that were born in the land, it's stressing them out, having all these people flooding the gates, and now it's a problem. He's done it on purpose, right? Because this is all going to lead to him being able to see everybody, and to create this chaos for a reason to do that. It's not. It didn't happen by accident, right? It is their policy. It is their plan. It is their idea to do all of this, right? To bring about chaos and to bring about a solution for all the chaos that's going to happen. All right, it's him that's been doing that, right? It's the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 41. I'm just going to get to this point here. We're in the fourth part of the kingdom at the feet, okay, made of iron and made of clay. Okay, this is Esau's last leg, right? So verse 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, right? Esau's kingdom is divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. The military, they're still strong militarily, right, compared to everybody else. Okay, they got America at the head of NATO, right? There's not many forces out there that can really contend, but there has been a stirring. There's been a stirring in the east and in the north. Okay, with Russia and China, they are entities that are banding together that could pose an issue, right? But there shall be in the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave to one another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Right? And that's why you're having all these problems between these different groups of people with different ideologies and different ways of living, different cultures, right? Because they don't mingle. They're not really compatible, right? And so you're gonna have all these divisions and separation between one another. Yeah, the man, you go to work, these different groups of people at work, and they'll chat to each other or whatever. But they're fundamentally different people, innit? Everybody knows it. People always stick to themselves, man. And it's just the way things have always been. You might do some things that get along, kind of thing, but you're not really. You got two different types of mentalities, man. Different ways of life, right? So yeah, they're not cleaving to each other. They're not joined untogether, right? And like I said, that's what's shown it. Well, not that one. Shown here in these divisions. That's what's up. With the immigration and all that is all going on right now. This is from Genesis chapter 47. I wanted to grab this, man, because I mentioned about these people giving in to the chaos, basically, and wanting a solution by any means, essentially, right? Because the trouble was going to prevail over them, right? And so this is what was going on in the land of Egypt during the time of famine, and Joseph was collecting collecting all kinds of payments, right, for to give the people bread. They were selling their possessions and whatever in order to get bread or seeds from Joseph, right, food. Right, so I'm going to read it from here, verse 20. And Joseph bought all the land. Actually, I'm going to read from verse 18. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year and said unto him, We will not hide it from my Lord how that our money is spent. Right, you ain't gonna have no money out here, right? When these banks collapse and that in your bank accounts always say zero, right? Because they're gonna bail in and you ain't gonna get no money out of there, right? You're gonna have no money. You're gonna have no way to buy anything, right? And so something else has to be implemented, has to be has to be done for you to be able to purchase things, right? Because your money is not, you're gonna have no money to use anyway. All right, so something else has to replace it, and we keep talking about the digital currencies, the CBDCs, right? That they've been prepping, testing, and all this kind of stuff, right? Blockchain technology, and there's a way to implement it all, right? That's why you're gonna have to take a CHIP to make transactions. Okay, that's the whole point, right? That's what he's speaking about in Revelation chapter 13, which we're gonna get in after this, right? That you cannot buy or sell without that mark, right? Because your money, you're not gonna be able to use the money that you have now. So you have to use something else, right? So see, we will not hide it from my Lord how that our money is spent. My Lord also have our herds of cattle. There is aught left in the sight of my Lord but our bodies and our lands. Right? You're going to give yourselves over, just like these Egyptians were giving themselves over. Right? That's how desperate they were getting. Right? So wherefore shall we die before thine eyes? Right? Because all the crazy shit that's going to be going on in this time, all the death and the chaos, and that you'll be fearing for your lives, man. But you're gonna be like, why is the government gonna let us starve or subject us to the violence that's going on in the streets everywhere? Are you not supposed to be protecting us, and and so on and so on? All right, and the government like, yeah, well, we got this. Just come here and you be here, you'll be safe. You'll be put somewhere, in the military encampment or some shit, right? Like you see in the movies, man. You see on these zombie movies and shit, they always got like some sort of military encampment somewhere we're supposed to be safe or whatever the case may be, right? And you can get fed and watered there and whatever. It's gonna be like that, you know. So so yeah, wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, right? So these people are gonna be happy to be slaves to Esau and his system, right? The governments that are gonna be set up, right? And do what they're told. It says, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land may be not desolate. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's, right? This time of evil, this time of trouble prevailed over them. But it's not only just going to be famine that we're going to be dealing with here. Like I said, there's going to be a whole bunch of shit going on, man. People are going to be fearing for their lives, and this is why it's going to happen fairly quickly. These people are going to be giving up fairly quickly, man. All right? And they're going to take that mark. Okay, the majority of these people on the earth, right? So as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other. So he relocated them, right, into different places, right? You gonna be in this 15-minute city. You gonna be in that 15-minute city. You gonna stay in this concentration camp. All this sort of stuff. Like that's what it's leading up to, right? Because the trouble, the evil is gonna prevail over these people. Right? Because they're going to be morally, spiritually exhausted, physically exhausted, So Esau's creating a situation for him to accomplish this. Right? And like I said, it all ends here. Revelations 13 and 16, right? I'll read up a verse. Let's see. I'll read from verse 14. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying that to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live, right? So again, right now he's pushing along with his technology now. Eagle's got fucking robots out there that's gonna look after your kids and shit, cut your grass. Right, he can make Elon's got Neuralink. He can make the blind to see, the deaf to hear, and that kind of shit. The lame to walk. He can do all this shit now, right? And people like they look at Esau like he's the top creation on the planet. He's magnificent, right? He could do all these things. We need him. We need him. He can solve all our problems, even though he's the one creating all of them. But he can solve all our problems, and so you're gonna listen to him like you always do. In times of crisis, man, you man sit there and fucking listen to him because you don't know fucking shit anyway. You don't know what to do. Yeah. So you're gonna turn to him, and he's gonna bless you with his mark. So you can survive, right? Anyway, verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? So at some point, it's not even going to become a choice, right? You don't want to be a part of this new system, man. Goodbye. You are the weakest link, right? You can be removed from the earth. It's fine. He wants a lower head count anyway, right? But yeah, verse 16 now said, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, right? Like, so your cash is going to be gone, right? You ain't going to use that. So what are you going to use? How you gonna do this transaction? How you gonna make this transfer? You know, this trade? Oh, by having this mark, right? Because without it, it says that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, except he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? So you're gonna, and we go into this all the time, right? The mark is an incision, a carving into the flesh, right? And we know what these RFID CHIPs, you know, what they can do. We've got people rolling about with them in their hands now, you know, doing the exact same things that we tell you that you're going to be doing in the future. It's just a matter of time, and they're trying to coax you or ease you into the idea of having this type of technology under your skin, or, you know, in your head, you know, subdermal stuff, right, in your hand or whatever. They're trying to get you along to that idea, you know. The pandemic was helped with that because, you know, you put in stuff you didn't even know what the fuck it was in you, you know, because it was an emergency. Well, this is gonna be a greater emergency, and so, you know, these people are gonna be like, fuck it, you know. If it means I can, you know, feed my kids or whatever, I'm gonna take it. That's what's gonna be on these people's minds, right? Well, it's just a little chip, it's a little prick, you know, whatever, right? Because you're gonna look at that, the taking that as a small thing in comparison to what you're dealing with. Just like those Egyptians, man, that were about to starve to death, like selling your land and your body, yourselves into slavery, into servitude. You're gonna see that as a small thing in comparison to surviving. You know, so this is what it's all building up to. Okay, to bring around this chaos, that to get you to submit, because it's gonna be so fucking taxing on the people that you're just gonna give up, man. You're just gonna give in and fulfill what the plan was here. You know, you're gonna fulfill the plan because that's what they're aiming for. Yeah, this is not a joke. You know what I'm saying? This is actually what's actually happening. And if you can't see it, well, you know, obviously the Lord just kept you in the dark, innit? But that's what's going on. You know. But I'm gonna end it there. You know, it's gone on for a bit still. All right. So Lord, this has been edifying. And I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. So till next time, I say shalom.